The second thing is it's also normal sometimes if you're completely obsessed with something and it doesn't go your way, it's normal to feel feelings of hatred towards it. And I honestly, if I had $1 for every time I've said I fucking hate this game, I would retire because I'd be a multi-millionaire. It's something that I've said so many times. All right, let's plow through. C.
Yeah.
It always gets worse before it gets better when you're learning a new skill in life. You must be willing to go through this process in order to become the best. Well, I think we can probably gloss over that because I said about the donkey strategy. Yeah.
We did talk a lot about this one, about when you're learning a new skill. I mean, just quickly, I guess we'll just run it through.
Yeah.
When you're learning a new skill in life, you're going to make mistakes at first, right? Like, let's say you're learning how to donk a lot more now, or you're learning how to make a lot more river check raise bluffs. You're going to butcher some spots. And you have to be willing to do that, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's where the uncomfort is. You have to be willing to butcher some spots in order to really get good. So I guess we'll just skip right over that one because we did discuss that one already.
Yeah, okay, the next one. Be obsessed or be average. Be obsessed with improving, expanding and growing every area of your life. Yeah, it's another Gogginsy type situation here. I mean, I can't remember who it was. I remember reading an interview with a big poker player where they said, you know, are you obsessed with poker? And they basically said, if you're not obsessed with poker, like nobody's ever going to know who you are in this game. Basically,
that's right.
It's absurdly competitive. There are thousands of us. Good players are making good money in terms of real world salaries. Like a good poker player makes a lot of money, particularly if you live in a country where the cost of living isn't so high. For us here in Canada, in the UK, maybe it's not as high. But if you're living in somewhere where the cost of living is low, it's really good money. So it's super competitive. And the only way to get to the top is not by having more natural flair or natural ability or talent or intelligence. It's just simply the dedication. And if you're obsessive about this game, if you channel that in the right way, there's a very strong chance that you're gonna fly to the top. If you're not obsessed with this game and it's just like a part-time thing that you do, or it's your job and you only see it as your job, you're never going to be anything special. And you see this all the time with world-class athletes. Like, I always use Cristiano Ronaldo as the example, who is arguably the greatest footballer to have ever lived, or first or second. But without a doubt, the reason he is there is because of his absurd obsession with football, right? And he goes home from training and continues to train. He gets in a swimming pool and rides an exercise bike after a full day of playing football. The man is absolutely obsessed, and that is why he was able to reach the top. And it's the same thing with poker. I don't know one beast who isn't obsessive about poker, who doesn't talk about poker and think about poker a lot of the time. I certainly don't know anyone who got very far in the game who treated it as kind of a side thing. It's just the way it has to be in this game. So if you're watching this video and you think, I like poker, or it's my job, but I'm not obsessed with it, you need to reevaluate whether this game's for you, and you need to reevaluate whether you could be a little bit more passionate about it. And it's one of the reasons, a little peek behind the curtain here, Jack, but it's one of the reasons when anyone applies to Team 651, we say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love poker, right? And people are very honest with that, and sometimes people come back with 2s and 3s, and they don't really love the game.
Yep.
And the truth is nobody ever came back giving a score of less than an 8 or a 9 that was a particularly great player or playing high stakes. We've never had someone join 651 who went on to be successful at high stakes who didn't score an 8 or a 9 in terms of their love for the game. It's hard to say. It is absolutely mandatory to be obsessive about poker to be any good at it. Phil Ivey was another one, Jack, who I used to watch interviews with Phil Ivey years and years ago, who obviously was the original poker goat. And they said to him, what do you do in your spare time? And he said, to be honest, I think about poker all the time. He says, I'm driving, I think about poker. When I'm grocery shopping, I'm thinking about the way I played a hand. He thought about poker non-stop. And it was that obsession that propelled him to the top. I know you've got something to add to this for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to second, everything you just said basically, and I guess I want to talk to the guys that might not feel like they're obsessed with poker right now. They're like, I'm not obsessed with poker. I just kind of see it as like a kind of whatever thing. You have to try to find a way to cultivate that obsession and curiosity. Like, you really want to dig as deep as you can and find a way, and ask yourself this question, like, if I was obsessed with poker and improving, how many hours would I study, today, this week? How many hours of grind would I put in this week? If I was absolutely obsessed with it, right? Take the actions of obsession, and you'll find sooner or later you're probably going to be obsessed with it. Like, take the actions of obsession first. Think about an obsessed person. Like, if you were actually completely obsessed with poker, how many hours would you study per week? Really think about that. Like, you would just like live, breathe, sleep, like in your dream, everywhere. It would be everywhere, right? You'd talk about it, you'd think about it, you'd study about it, you'd grind,
dream about it.
Obsessed. And when you get to that level of obsession, which every single absolutely great player has gone through at one point or another, and is still probably has some obsession towards it, has gone through, like, we've all been through that stage, or are still in that stage where we're absolutely obsessed with this game, and that's why we can make it to the top. And that's really it, because if you're not obsessed with it, you're probably not going to study as much as you should. You're probably not going to grind as many hours as you should, and it's just it's difficult to make it to the top if you're not obsessed. Like, if you think about, we just saw Conor McGregor beat the shit out of Donald Cerrone. For those of you who watch UFC, and Conor has. Did you watch that fight, by the way, Scott? Or?
I haven't seen it. All 40, I haven't found the 40 seconds yet.
Conor out in like 40 seconds. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Conor McGregor is now worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but he's still got an absolute obsession towards fighting and becoming better. And he hit him with these shoulder strikes. He had these shoulder strikes that nobody's ever really seen in UFC before. That was mentioned there. And his opponent was just like, "Yeah, I've never seen that before. It caught me out of nowhere," And Conor McGregor he still has that obsession and that passion, even after he's made so much money, to be the best in the world at what he does. And that's what keeps him going to the gym and training every single day. And that's the type of obsession that's going to make you the best. And that's where I want people to be thinking here on Team 651 when you watch this video. Really be at that point where, like, it doesn't matter how much, some people ask me, like, Jack, you make tons of money. Like, why do you still play so much? Or why do you still study in the solver so much? Like, I want to be the best heads-up player in the world. It's really that simple. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. And I want to be, the absolute best. And I love playing. And I do have an obsession towards poker. And I've had an obsession towards poker for many years. Now I know how to control the obsession a little bit better, but I am obsessed with grinding. Like, I love playing. I like teaching. I'm also obsessed with self-development. I'm just obsessed with, I am insanely obsessed with just growing as a human, mindset, poker, anything that falls under that umbrella. I have a strong obsession for, and I want to inspire people that watch this video to try to do their best to cultivate those kind of habits as well. And it happens slow, but it's very possible for you.
The two slight caveats, the two things I would say is, like, because I also would class myself as obsessed with the game. I can remember actually reading your posts on HUSG in like 2012 or 2011. I remember reading you saying that you had a 6K downswing, and I think Chadders was teasing you about it. And you were saying that you were really low about it. I was obsessed. I was like, I'd be at work and like reading the forum and just like tracking all your guys' careers. I am obsessed with poker. There's two things just quickly. Number one, obviously sometimes there are times when you're going to burn out and need a little break, and having a break from the game sometimes is necessary. because it can become a nasty obsession. That's the one thing with an obsession, is it can become nasty if you don't treat it right. And after years and years of being obsessed with poker, it is likely at some point that you're going to burn out, and it is important to take breaks, like take a few days off or take a holiday, stuff like that. So don't be afraid of that happening to you. The second thing is, it's also normal sometimes if you're completely obsessed with something and it doesn't go your way, it's normal to feel feelings of hatred towards it. And I honestly, if I had $1 for every time I've said I fucking hate this game, I would retire because I'd be a multi-millionaire. It's something that I've said so many times throughout my poker career, and I don't mean it. I don't mean it. If poker,
it's so easy to be disgusted with this game, though. But like,
disgusted is correct.
I do love that you mentioned that, though. But when I say obsession, I don't mean love. Okay, when you're obsessed with something, let's say you're obsessed with something, there's a lot of emotional swings when you're obsessed with something.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of ups and downs because you're obsessed. Let's say you're obsessed, you're a guy and you're obsessed with a girl. That doesn't mean it's always good. Sometimes this girl gets on your nerves and you want to kill her. You know.
Or take sports.
So the obsession doesn't necessarily mean that you're just always happy and jolly and I love poker every single day. It's just that you're obsessed with it in a way where if things are going bad, right? If things are going bad for you, if you're having a rough stretch, you're obsessively trying to make it so that you get out of that stretch. And how do you do that? You get to the drawing board. You start learning more. You do anything it takes to move forward and become the best. Anything. And you sacrifice whatever needs to be sacrificed. Okay? Yeah. Whether that be your Netflixing time, whether that be your social life. Okay? I can speak from personal experience. I know you have too, Scott. I've sacrificed so much of my social life just for so much of my social life just to I'm getting a phone call here. Anyways, let's just ignore the phone call. I've sacrificed so much of my social life, so much of my TV watching time, so much of even family time, so many things that are sacrificed in order to be the best. And I'm not saying that those things need to be sacrificed for life, okay?
No.
I want to be very clear on that. I'm saying that on your way to the top, on your way to becoming a GOAT, you're gonna have to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
Okay? You have to. And you can bring about balance later on in your path. After you're at a place where you're just after you're at a place where you're actually saying to yourself, okay, I've done really well. Okay, I've done really well. I'm exactly where I want to be. I'm still going to continue growing, but I'm not I don't need to be as obsessive as I was when I was first on my come up, right? And then now you can bring back balance into your life, bring back more of your social life, bring back more family time. Now you have more time because you don't have to, play 60, 70 hours a week to make money because you have tons of money already since you're already the best. You're assuming you're gonna make a lot of money at that point already too.
Yeah.
So on the way to the top, make those sacrifices, okay, and then keep those sacrifices, and then bring some of them back, as you please, at this point in my life, I could play 20 hours a week and have a very strong social life and family time and all those things, and you put yourself into a position where that can happen for you. But on my way to the top, I don't want to diversify my focus. I am completely all in on poker.
Yeah.